Hey there, comic book fans.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Travis. And welcome to our latest edition of Monster Comic Reviews. Yeah, we don't really review monsters though, do we?
No, we don't.
Yeah. At any rate, this is for the second week of November. We're going to talk about the books that we picked up. We're also going to talk about, the first book we're going to talk about is a book that should have been in the last review, but we didn't get that shipment then. We have it now. So first thing we're going to talk about is Justice League Dark #2. What do you think?
I'm a little bit confused because I thought Madame Xanadu was a good guy, but at the end of this comic she's telling Enchantress to kill them all. So I'm confused on that.
Yeah, that definitely is pretty interesting. Yeah, I didn't even recognize that it was her voice through most of it, talking about a lot.
Neither did I. I didn't realize until like towards the end when other people started to think.
Right. I really like this comic. I'm really excited about this comic. This is probably one of the DC comics I was looking forward to most. I've been waiting for this kind of a comic, kind of a more serious, hardcore magic DC superhero book. I like the magic in the DC universe. They've attempted other books like this that haven't quite been so successful. Like Shadow Packing, for instance. Nice idea, it just didn't seem to get executed as well as what it should have and whatnot. I'm really excited about this. It's got some cool characters in it. I like their handling of the characters that they've introduced so far. In this issue, I like Zatanna. I love the fact that she's sitting there all meditated to keep from getting blasted by the stuff that comes there. And
she's dead.
She's dead. You know, that whole poking her to see if she's going to move and whatnot. Interesting rendition of Constantine in this. I know you're not real familiar with Constantine because I don't let you read the Hellblazer books yet. But you know, he gets beat up a lot and whatnot, but in his own book he doesn't actually go out of his way to get his butt beat so he can use his magic and whatnot. So that was a little odd and stuff. I didn't realize that Deadman and Dove
were dating?
Had that kind of a relationship. I mean, I know they're friends and whatnot. I didn't realize that,
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
You know, I believe there's something about that in the Bride of Stay stuff, but of course we didn't read the Bride of Stay stuff. But so that's kind of interesting. I'm curious to see if Dove stays around the book, even though she really hasn't been billed as being one of the members.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You know, well, yeah, because she definitely brings a completely different perspective than the rest of them do. I mean, the rest of them are pretty nitty-gritty and
they are,
and dark.
Yeah.
And she's anything but that.
Yeah, she's so clean.
Yeah. I love the style of this book. I like the artwork. I like
the art's pretty cool.
The way the action moves through it and stuff. Yeah, nothing but excited about this book. What would you rate this book?
I'd give it like a 3 or a 4.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, is a 3.54. I think there's more coming. I think once we get all the characters there and start moving forward, it's going to be really interesting. Of course, there's enough people in the book that they aren't concentrating on everybody all the time, which I think is okay because we wouldn't get enough of a story of each person until they get together. You know, we didn't have any. We didn't have any shade in this issue, and in issue 1, what little bit of introduction we got to him was just awesome with his freaky girlfriend and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to getting all the characters together so we get to see all of that kind of craziness, you know, all the time. Yeah, fun book. Anyway.
Next we have Batgirl issue 3.
And this one's got good old Dick in it, Nightwing. Or Richard. I guess he's called Richard in this one. They didn't actually call him Dick in this one. I hear that there was some editorial debate. At one point they told Gale that Richard's what they were using. They weren't going to be using Dick anymore. But that's kind of fallen through because all the other comics still call him Dick. So
yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I want to like Batgirl. I was a fan of the old Batgirl, but I wasn't going to hold that against this Batgirl. I don't have a problem with Barbara Gordon being Batgirl. I liked her as Oracle, but I'm fine with her being Batgirl. I like the secondary characters that are in this book in general. They weren't in this issue that I remember. I like Barbara Gordon's roommate, for instance, and some of those characters and stuff. I don't know. I have a problem with this Batgirl. She has I don't know, she just seems pathetic to me. I can't think of a better word for it than she seems so pathetic. She's so worried about things, and I understand that they're trying to give her, she's back in the groove of whatnot. But if she was Oracle, and before, which we're told that she was at some point, I believe, and she was that strong Oracle person, she wouldn't be having the issues that she's having now. I don't think. She just seems so worried about everything, and I don't remember Barbara Gordon Oracle being this concerned about, just everything. And so she comes across to me as pathetic. I like the writing. She just seems lame, and I don't think that she should be lame. I know maybe this is them trying to show that she's growing, that she's not just nigh invulnerable. She's not a female version of Batman who just is confident about everything. But I don't know. To me, I'm just not enjoying the character.
Yeah, she is pretty pathetic. She needs to spend less time going, oh, I don't know if I can do this, or can I do this, or this isn't going to work. You think maybe she'd go, well, this isn't going to work, so I should do this, or I'm going to do this. And how old is Barbara?
Oh, she's considerably younger than she was when she was before the relaunch.
Okay.
They backed her up way back,
Okay.
She's supposed to be super smart. She's like just out of college, but she's so she's got to be in her early to mid 20s.
Okay.
Is where she's at now. So she doesn't have that wealth of maturity. So I don't have a problem with that part. It's just her total lack of confidence is, I guess, what bugs me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I was just curious because how old do you get before you stop being Batgirl? Because Kate's like Kate Kane, Batwoman, she's like 19, isn't she?
No.
Oh, she isn't?
No. She's she's out of the military. Well, she got drummed out of the military, but no, she's not 19. She's got to be older than that.
Okay.
I don't know. She might be older than. That's a good question. I really thought about that. She might actually be older than Barbara Gordon at this point. No, I think she's in her. I think Kate Kane is in her mid-20s also. But yeah. Well, that's the whole Batgirl making her seem young. I don't know. I'm looking past that.
Okay.
At some point she has to grow up and not be girl, not be called girl.
I don't know. I guess you'd think there'd be a certain point when you stopped becoming Batgirl and you became something else.
But so if that's the debate, Power Girl. How old do you think she was? Granted, we don't know if she's around superpowered anymore, but when she was, how old do you think she was? I assumed that she was adult. I would assume she's in her 30s. She's still called Power Girl. Are you going to poke fun at Power Girl for being called Power Girl? Hey, called Power Girl instead of Power Woman.
No.
Okay, so I don't know that. I understand what you're saying, but I don't know if that works. For what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you have a problem with it.
Yes.
You have a problem with her becoming an adult and being called Batgirl.
Yeah.
Whereas Stephanie Brown, still being a college student and whatnot, you're okay with her being Batgirl.
Well, yes.
Because she's like 18 or 19.
Yes.
But at some point, Stephanie, if we've been reading Stephanie for 10 years, and we assume they let her grow up some, by the time she hit her mid-20s, she can't be called Batgirl anymore?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. That's a good point, but I don't know. They both can't be called Batwoman.
Well,
Batwoman's already taken.
I know.
Okay. Well, what did you think of what did you think of the book as a whole?
I liked it. I like the art. I like the story, kind of.
Well, see, I don't have a problem with the story. I like the writing otherwise. I want to be excited about and be going, yeah, Batgirl. And I'm like, oh, what's she going to worry and wring her hands about and go, oh dear. Yeah, maybe we should have another opinion. I know there's other people in the house that read it that don't have the same opinion that I do as far as Batgirl's portrayal in it. That she is a strong person and whatnot. And to me, I'm not feeling that strength so much as I'm feeling the weakness part.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't get me that excited. I say the book, I give it a 3 out of 3. Anyway, let's move on to the next book. The next book is Batman and Robin #3.
I like the villain. I like the villain. He's cool. I love his little eyes.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, his suit's pretty cool.
I guess that's what they'd be called.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize Damian was so brutal as he beats the punk into brain dead.
Oh, potentially.
Brain dead.
Yeah, beat him hard enough to. I like this book. I wasn't sure going into it that I was gonna like the whole. I like the team of Dick and Damian, so I wasn't sure exactly how I was gonna like this with Bruce and Damian. I do like it. I'm still reeling from issue 2 where it showed Damian catching that bat and just squishing it for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Which is to me, it was like showing that he's like a potential psychopath. You know, that this is hurting animals that aren't doing anything is the gateway to being a homicidal maniac and all this stuff and I wasn't happy about that. And so when I read this book the first time I read it, and I've read it twice now, the first time I read it, they've gotten a dog, and Damian's not real keen on the dog, and at one point he kind of slaps the dog away.
Yeah.
And I took that as him being really mean to the dog, and because of what I read in the last issue, and I was really concerned they were continuing to portray him as being this. Potentially being this homicidal maniac, which he was never. He was past that, and I don't know. And that kind of bugged me. But reading the second time, maybe not so much. That maybe I read too much into that. Yeah, he does beat the guys up pretty bad. He always does that though, unless there's somebody there to dial it back. But he didn't kill him. It wasn't his intention to kill him. The bad guy finishes him off for him and whatnot. That part's interesting and stuff. I love the relationship between Damian and Alfred. That's great. I mean, that's really interesting. I still really like issue 1 best of this thing. It captured a mood, and I don't think they recaptured that mood. Now it's been more of a Damian book.
Yeah.
That first one where Bats is talking about how he's going to start celebrating the anniversary as opposed to the deaths of his family and whatnot, and some of those things were some great stuff in there. But actually, as a whole, I really do like this comic, though. It's interesting. Their relationships is much more interesting than what I thought it was going to be. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm curious. The ending of it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Where they're in some abandoned
car and
out in the middle of a old abandoned drive-in movie.
Yeah. And
they're getting ready to show some. I mean, what movie do you think they're going to show?
I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to see exactly what that ends up being like and whatnot. So it'll be curious. I give this book a solid 3 out of 3.
Yeah.
It's really less about the villains and what they're fighting. It's more about their relationship, which I think is great. I mean, that's a great thing for this book to be. They don't have to be about beating up the bad guy all the time. So yeah, pretty enjoyable.
Yep.
What's next?
Batwoman issue 3. This book, it's so awesome. I love the differences in art styles. The fact that Batwoman is shinier and smoother, almost like glossier than Kate is, and Kate has the grittier, more grunge feeling art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely feels to me like there's almost 3 different art styles going on, and then they deliberately make it that way. When we see her as Batwoman, you're right, it has this shiny, a shiny kind of a polished feel to it, a porcelain almost to it throughout the whole thing, and then you get the parts that have Agent Chase in it, and it's much more of a granular kind of a look. You're not familiar with it, but I know I've talked with you about it before, that it looks more like J.H. Williams when he did Desolation Jones under Wildstorm. It had that kind of an art style to it. It had the lines and everything about it had a different texture. I'm not sure how much of that has to do with what J.H. Williams is doing art-wise and how much of it has to do with they have Dave Stewart, who's the colorist, coloring those parts differently and whatnot. It's really cool. And then of course you have the part where Kate is Kate and I'm not sure exactly how I describe that look, but it's definitely 3 different looks, and it's really cool even when they execute it all on the same page, because there's parts there where
where it's Kate and then the agent and then
Agent
Batwoman.
Chase, well, or it's Agent Chase and Batwoman. This is a really interesting comic. It's a really interesting story, I think. You know, it's not some straightforward "let's punch criminals in the face" kind of thing. There's this whole creepy,
twisted feeling,
ghosty spirit, whatever it is, that drags her in this issue, drags her off into the water, almost drowns her out, and her whole issues with her, sister and whatnot, and then escaping that, and then there's some great. I love the shot of her flipping around all the agents, where she's escaping from them and stuff, and her bike.
Yeah, her bike.
I think her bike just made a noise or something like that, and they take off on the bike and whatnot. The one thing that really threw me off in it is when she gets back home. And she tells her cousin, "You're done. I'm not training you anymore. Quit. You're not cut out for this." Betty. Mm-hmm. Did that seem kind of out of the blue?
Yeah.
Do you think that she decided to do that because of what just happened with the agent? She doesn't want Betty getting tied in with potentially having problems with the government or whatever?
I don't know.
Or is she just that freaked out by being pulled under and the stuff that happened to her sister and all that? She doesn't want to be responsible for somebody else in that? That's the only part that kind of either bothered me or made me go, what?
Yeah.
Is that there was no...
Like, okay, why?
There didn't seem much in the way of an explanation there for that part of it.
There really wasn't.
Yeah, but the bad guy in this thing I think is really cool. It's creepy. I think it's, they're kind of hinging on a more horror aspect of it. And there's quite a few of these titles where the authors and whatnot have said, oh, we're going to kind of take a horror pen to it. This one does it really well. Keeps the superhero motif, but still is capturing this, because it's just weird. Because there's nothing we can put a finger on. We can't put a finger on something to say, this is the bad guy. It's the Penguin, or it's
the Penguin.
or it's whatever. It's this spirit, for lack of anything else going on. And the other secondary stories that are going on are really interesting too. The whole thing with Agent Chase trying to hunt people down and whatnot. Mr. Bones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who I only know from the old Infinity Inc.
Yeah, the old DOA stuff. Yeah, he's not a bad guy. He's the head of a government. Yeah. Head of secret branch of a head of a government. So, I love this comic. The art is just beyond belief. The panels, I think, are fabulous. I don't know if his panels influence these other artists that have started changing the way their panels are laid out or not, or it just happens to be that this, is the new trend going on. I love it. I think it's great. I love the panels that are strange. I don't think they're that challenging to make us be confused as to which direction we're supposed to read stuff. But still, it just laid out there is very, very interesting. Just looking at it before you even start to actually read what's going on. It has its own thing and whatnot. This book's a 4 out of 4 for me.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 4.5.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. Okay. That's it for this half. We're actually splitting these all in half. We've got... we read way too many comics, or we read a lot of comics and have a good time with them. At any rate, to set through one of these things would be a half hour or longer without us splitting in half. So we're going to split this in half here, and so you should be seeing, after this one's posted, not much longer after it, the second half of it posted. At any rate, have a good one. Hope you catch the second half.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.